There we are. Also, just be sure to mute yourselves if you are not one of the presenters. I will be on top of that if anyone forgets. But just as a courtesy, go ahead and mute yourselves. And now, without further ado, our Executive Director, Gus Penaranda.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Jake. First of all, let me welcome everyone to another NJPCC webinar. This one is focusing on the new cannabis industry in the state of New Jersey. My apologies for the time change, but there were adjustments that needed to be made. But the information will be made available to all the registrants. And so everyone that was planning on the later time that couldn't make it can still see the information and get contact information for the representative speaking today. So without any further ado, if you do have questions, there will be a question and answer period at the end of the presentation. And we do encourage questions because the more you know about this new industry, the better off you'll be. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Wesley McWhite, sorry.
Good morning. Thank you, Gus. Thank you, Jake, for organizing and agreeing to host us here at the CRC. My name is Wesley McWhite. I'm the Director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion here at the CRC, and I am really excited and honored to introduce our commissioner, one of our inaugural commissioners, Commissioner Krista Nash. I'm going to read her bio really quickly and then turn it over to her as she gets us started. Commissioner Nash came to the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission from Volunteers of America, Delaware Valley. As the organization's director of the Promise program, she worked to meet the unique needs of individuals existing in the criminal justice system with co-occurring disorders. Krista has devoted her professional career to social justice initiatives, particularly working with formerly incarcerated individuals who struggle with homelessness, substance use, and mental health disorders. Prior to her extensive reentry work with Volunteers of America, she worked with the Gold Ring Reentry Initiative through the University of Pennsylvania. In that position, she helped individuals incarcerated in the Philadelphia prison system transition safely to the community. Krista has also worked with Oaks Integrated Care and Rutgers University Transitions for Youth program, mentoring historically underserved adolescents. The devotion continues. In addition to carrying out her commission duties, Krista volunteers as a member of the Camden County Addiction Awareness Task Force. She received a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University and a master's degree from the University of Pennsylvania, both in social work. Krista maintains her social work license in the state of New Jersey. Krista was born and raised at the Jersey Shore, and she currently resides in Winslow Township with her husband, Jeff. They have 3 adult children. And without Krista Nash. Krista, take it away.
Thank you, Director McWhite, and good morning, everyone. I want to thank the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce for the invitation to speak today. I am so excited to see advocacy groups like yours being proactive in learning about this nascent cannabis industry here in New Jersey and helping your members figure out how they can participate. This forum is exactly what our social equity framework is made for, to pave the way for diversity and inclusion in this market. And by market, I mean in every area of the plant-touching industry and all the ways your business will support it. Look, ancillary businesses, I always say this, they are so necessary to the success of this industry. And the good news is, you don't need a license to operate in the non-plant touching world. Businesses, cannabis businesses need lawyers, accountants, packaging and labeling services, security, architects, the list goes on. I and the rest of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission hope to see every community benefit from this market success. We owe so much to communities of color who bore the brunt of the war on drugs, and also to the gay community, who were the pioneers of medicinal cannabis as early as the 70s, and particularly during the AIDS crisis. Shortly, Director McWhite will discuss our application process, our priority review, and the cure process in detail. But I just want to tell you how well it is working. We have reviewed more than 1,300 conditional applications for cannabis businesses. That's a lot. All of them, which is really important here, are social equity or diversely owned businesses or businesses located in impact zones. We have not only met, but surpassed the benchmarks set by the CREAM Act, which is the legislation that guides the cannabis program, for the percentage of licenses awarded to minority-owned businesses. It's incredible. And I will credit Director McWhite for his efforts in doing so. Unlike other states that have tried to make an existing cannabis market equitable, we, along with stakeholders and chambers like you, are building our market solidly on equity. It is right there in our logo, safety and equity, which are our presiding commitments. We know that we can keep those commitments and have a successful market. And here's a little nugget. Between April 21st and June 30th, $4.6 million was collected in tax revenue from nearly 80 million in recreational cannabis sales. Let me break that down. That's in 10 weeks. It's a lot. That was revenue generated by only 7 cannabis businesses. Let me repeat that. That 80 million was generated by 7 cannabis businesses at 17 locations. So just imagine, along with me, what this market will be like when the diverse pool of licensees begin to open their doors, when buy local or craft devotees have mom and pop cannabis businesses to support, when high quality artisanal strains and products become consumer favorites, when the Garden State's cannabis products become the sought after standard across the country, and when opt-out municipalities see the successes in these towns around them and start jumping in to participate. There's a small amount of municipalities that have opted in thus far, but they're coming online. And our goal here is to diligently work to educate municipal officials about outdated stigmas and also assuaging their fears as to safety in their communities. Look, we live here too. Some have children. We get it. We want to make sure that this program is safe, and we're doing just that. There is rich potential for New Jersey's cannabis market, and we're just getting started. The public comment portion of our latest rules proposal closed on September 30th. And among other things, the proposed rules add the licensing and operating parameters for wholesale, distribution, and delivery businesses. I can tell you that consumption lounges are coming. They are spaces which are similar to a cigar lounge, and which will provide a safe and legal space for adults to consume cannabis products. And as a social worker, I think of the risks that people take that live in public housing projects where, you know, they could lose their housing for consuming on the premises. So we're mindful of that. Judging from what I've seen from the beautiful job dispensary owners have done with their spaces, I have no doubt that these consumption lounges will be stylish and sophisticated additions. And at the risk of sounding idealistic, I want to say that when a community that holds the value of inclusion and diversity at its core meets an industry designed to live those values, there is no telling where it will go. And I hope that you can imagine along with me, and that some of my excitement and hope for this industry is inspiring you to participate. We need your voice, your lived experiences, and your unique perspective to help guide and shape this industry into its full potential. Other states are looking at what New Jersey is doing with its cannabis program. So let's show them who we are, the Great Garden State. I'm going to turn it over to Director McWhite. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Nash. Really appreciate those words. They inspired me. I hope they inspired you all to start paying closer attention to the cannabis industry if you are not already. So I am going to share my screen so we can get this presentation off the ground or continued. Just 1 second. All right. If I can just get a thumbs up if you all can see my screen. I think you can. All right. So again, my name is Wesley McWhite, the Director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. This is Growing New Jersey's Cannabis Industry. So I wanted to start off by showing you a quick timeline of the work that we have accomplished over the last 2 years. In November 2020, during that election, there was a referendum on our ballot to legalize and decriminalize cannabis here in the state of New Jersey. That passed overwhelmingly with an overwhelming majority from New Jersey voters. And so by February 2021, the CREAM Act established the New Jersey CRC and the regulations for recreational cannabis. In April 2021, the commission was seated and the first public meeting was held. In August of that same year, the rules and regulations for the recreational cannabis market were established. In December of that year, the first applications opened for cultivators, manufacturers, and testing laboratories. March the following year, license applications opened for dispensaries, and in that same month, the first conditional recreational applications were approved. In April 2022, the adult use sales begin. I just want to pause right here because Gus and I have been having this conversation a lot. A part of the reason why the cannabis industry's adult use sales began is because alternative treatment centers, cannabis businesses that were already operating in our medicinal space were given a carve out in the legislation to expand into the adult use space. So the dispensaries that you see open, which are listed on our website, are the only licensed dispensaries that are legally operating in the state of New Jersey. You know, smoke shops and CBD shops and folks that sell THC oils and things of that nature, while those products are legal, they do not fall under the CRC's jurisdiction. So if you go to our website, you'll be able to find all of the medicinal and adult use cannabis dispensaries that are open and legally operating and licensed in the state of New Jersey. So what are the types of license? Applicants can choose 2 different types of licenses, 2 different types of ways to apply. And that is through a conditional license and through an annual license. Conditional license is sort of a provisional license.
Wesley,
Think of it
I'm
as
just going to pause you real quick.
Sure.
We're only seeing the large the first slide with all the other slides on the side. I don't think we're seeing the full presentation right now.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, thank you. Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. How's that?
Perfect.
All right, so let me just go back. Okay, so as I was saying, there are 2 pathways to full licensure for cannabis businesses. You can go through a conditional application phase, or you can go through an annual license application. So think of a conditional license as sort of a provisional license to getting an actual annual license. A conditional application does not need site approval, so you don't have to have a signed lease or purchase property, and you don't need municipal approval during the conditional application phase. If you're applying through a conditional, sort of a lower barrier option, your conditional license, you would then need to apply for a conditional conversion. And at that point, you would go after your municipal approval and securing your space for your business. And your annual license application is someone who has all of their ducks in a row, right? Someone who has municipal approval and someone who has already purchased or signed a lease, and they would go right to the annual license avenue. And these are the types of classes of licenses. Class 1 is a cannabis cultivator. Those are folks that grow cannabis. Class 2, cannabis manufacturer, those that make products from the plant. cannabis wholesaler, distributor, retailer, and delivery, and also testing laboratories. Currently, right now, our applications are not open just yet for wholesale, distribution, or delivery, but they soon will be opening those applications up for the public. There are three possible designations, and those are social equity businesses, diversely owned businesses, and impact zone businesses. And we're going to talk about those in just a second. So far, here are our application numbers. As Commissioner Nash said, we've reviewed and received over 1,300 applications as of September 25th, which is also my mother's birthday, shameless plug. And a third of those are social equity businesses. Social equity businesses are businesses that are located in what is called the application rather, the majority owner of the application is someone that lives in an economically disadvantaged area. So think of your Newarks, your Trentons, your Jersey cities, your Atlantic cities, or someone who has previous marijuana charges expunged or not. And over to your right, you'll see just how those businesses, where those businesses are applying and what types of classes of licenses that they are applying for. Diversely owned businesses, 70%, a majority of our license applications so far have registered through the Department of Treasury as a diversely owned business. Licensees, out of the 1,300, as of last month's public meeting, we have awarded over 500 licenses, and 38% of those are social equity businesses. So you can see as folks transition from the application phase to getting their awarded license, we are maintaining a strong number of social equity businesses. The same with majority owned with a previous marijuana conviction. Over 22% of individuals that have been awarded a license have majority ownership with previous marijuana convictions. And the same with diversely owned businesses. We continue to maintain in our licensing awardees that a majority of those are diversely owned businesses, and that stands at a strong 71%. Here's just a quick breakdown of where those businesses measure up. And so as you can see, you can apply as, you can apply for double or sometimes even triple certifications. So we have, one woman-owned, disabled, veteran-owned, and minority-owned business. We have minority and women-owned businesses. And so as you know, working with Gus, the Department of Treasury will be unveiling their LGBTQ certified businesses, which are not yet in our priority review, but certainly we'll be asking LGBTQ identified businesses in the cannabis space to register as an LGBTQ identified business so that we can see what type of data supports strong LGBTQ representation in this area. So what is the Office of Diversity and Inclusion? The Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and usually when I'm presenting, this is to my back, so I'd like to see if I can get this right. So the original name in statute is the Office of Minority, Disabled Veterans, and Women Business Development. But thank God they decided to shorten that to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, creating a far shorter acronym because government and state government loves acronyms. So we are known as ODI, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. And this is what we do. We promote, we outreach, we develop, and we evaluate. We promote and facilitate a diverse cannabis market in New Jersey. We outreach to under and unrepresented communities with information about the commission. We develop and recommend diverse policies, practices, and procedures, and we evaluate our effectiveness. And our charge in statute is to see no less than 30% of the total number of licenses being issued to certified minority, women's, and disabled veterans businesses. So think of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion as an office made possible by the people and for the people. So what is our social equity framework? Our social equity framework, just giving you quick context, over the years, and pinpointing to the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement when this country had a reckoning with race and identity and gender. The cannabis industry decided to take a hard look at itself, and it was already known that a majority of this industry is owned by rich, wealthy, cisgendered white males. And so many jurisdictions that have been operating in the adult use space started enacting policies to ensure more diversity going forward in their markets. The good thing and the advantage that New Jersey has is that our commission, when it was first enacted, looked at all of the jurisdictions that were operating in the adult use and medical space and decided to pull policies, readjust policies, and firm up policies here in New Jersey that lend itself to diversity and inclusion. And from that, we've learned from their mistakes. We have also learned from the great work that they have done, the positive work that they have done, and decided to put its own New Jersey spin on it. So here's our social equity framework. It starts with equitable access to information. Now, this is an expensive business to get into, and applicants and those that are looking to go after licenses are hiring consultants and lawyers that are charging fees on top of fees to help people with the application process. And our Director of Communications, Ms. Tony Ann Blake, who I think is on the call with us today, listening in, wanted to make sure that we were providing all of the information necessary and transparency necessary so that if you don't have the money to hire a consultant, if you don't have the money to hire a lawyer pro bono, that everything you need and every tool and resource that you would need to successfully submit an application is found on our website. It is through our pre-application webinars. It is through our documents webinars. It is also through our ever-growing FAQ sheets and all of the statutes and regulations that you would need to guide you in producing or submitting an application and starting a business is found on our website. Our social equity framework also includes a priority application review, and application cure and low application fees. New Jersey prides itself in being the state that has some of the lowest application fees, with low application submission fees as low as $100. Application cure process, in other jurisdictions, if you're missing something like an ID, if you forgot, a portion of your business plan, if you, forgot to sign some paperwork, you could be denied and forfeit your application fee. But here in New Jersey, we recognize for some people, this will be their first time starting a business and going through a regulated body to get a license to operate a business. And so if you're missing an ID, if you are missing signatures, we review your entire application and send you what is known as a cure letter. And we list out bullet by bullet what you are missing in that application and give you opportunity to resubmit your application without forfeiting or being denied straight away and having to start over from the beginning. And also our priority application review process, which I'll show you a breakdown in just a second. We are applying or accepting applications on a rolling basis, but if you apply and are send in the proof that proves that you are social equity, your application goes right to the top. If you apply and have your diversely owned, women-owned, or disabled veteran-owned certification through the Department of Treasury, you would go on that second tier of applications, no matter when you apply. And if you apply as a business that is located in impact zone or majority owned by the person that lives in the impact zone or employs persons from impact zones, you are part of that third tier. And it provides an opportunity for us to cast a wide net and pull applications from those that have been most harmed by the war on drugs and who have been underrepresented and unrepresented in this industry. Our outreach, engagement, and relationship building, exactly what we're doing here. We want to make sure that through the Office of Diversity and Inclusion and with all of our CRC, that we are staying actively engaged with the community. So that when there are roadblocks in the industry that need addressing, when there's information sharing that needs to happen to move this industry forward, we continue to rely on our outreach, engagement, and relationship building. We want to stay on the ground as this industry grows and expands. ODI funding, right in our legislation, there was an initial pot of money to set up this office, and it shows a financial commitment from our legislators and from the governor and from the state to make sure that we are doing this right. Leaders of the Legacy, it is my baby, my small child. It is a project that we started when we first came in to talk to those that are operating in the illicit market, known as the black, well, formerly known as the black market. But individuals that have really done the hard work of supplying the industry when it was an underground, when it was illicit. And we want to make sure that we are creating pathways, right? We want to make sure that we are creating a way that lends itself to those that want to transition from the illicit market into the regulated space. We don't want to be in competition with the illicit market, but we do want the illicit market to know that we value equity and safety here in New Jersey, and that there is room for the industry here in New Jersey for them. 3 interagency work groups. The CRC at the very beginning heard from the public, and out of the comments that they have made, they addressed barriers that would cause them that would prevent them from being a part of this industry. And that was access to capital, understanding that this is an expensive industry to get into. And it can be a little risky, but we want to make sure that we are working with agencies like the Economic Development Authority of New Jersey to provide access to capital funds and programs and products to those that need it most. Workforce development, we're going to need a strong workforce and talented workforce here in New Jersey. So we're working with the Department of Labor to make sure that we are training young people and training retirees, and we're training all different types of folks from different types of backgrounds that may not want to own a business, but do certainly want to work in the cannabis industry. And we're really excited about the work that we're doing with them. And business development support, we are intimately working with the Business Action Center and developing a technical assistance program, a free technical assistance program for individuals that need just the resources, that don't have the funds to spend on consultants and lawyers and helping them navigate our application process. But right now, you can already get resources from the Business Action Center on, as you all know, and filling out a business plan, getting your certifications from the Department of Treasury. We want to make sure that we are working with our agencies really to address and provide resources for individuals to get into this industry. And lastly, expanded alternative treatment centers, social equity plans, and collaboration. We are working with those that were operating in the medical space that have expanded into the adult use space. And so they have submitted to us as a part of their transition, social equity plans. How are they going to pour back into the community? How are they going to support LGBTQ communities and reentry organizations? How are they going to help with expungements? And how many folks will they be hiring from impact zones and economically disadvantaged areas? And so far, we are seeing great numbers and metrics that are coming out of those collaborations. And soon we'll be producing a social equity scorecard, similar to food safety cards that you would find in New York, and I believe they're here in New Jersey, so that the public will know that these large multi-million-dollar companies are invested in not just the cannabis industry, but also our communities as well. So here's a breakdown of our priority review process. As you see there, right at the top, social equity businesses, which we touched on. They're owned by people who lived in an economically disadvantaged area, or EDA, or who have convictions for cannabis-related offenses, expunged or not. Diversely owned businesses, all certified as such by the Department of Treasury. And impact zone businesses. Those are located in an impact zone, owned by people from an impact zone, or employing residents of an impact zone. And you can find the definitions in the list of economically disadvantaged areas and impact zones on our website. And this is just a further fleshing out of the other priority review statuses. Right under impact zones are applicants with bonus points for collective bargaining agreements, project labor agreements, or residency. And then lastly, all other applicants, annual applicants that don't fit within any of those other priority review designations. And to your right, you will find that micro businesses are seen before standard businesses. So right at the top, social equity micro businesses will be reviewed before standard social equity business. And micro businesses are businesses that have 2,500 square feet or less. If it is a cultivator, that is 2,500 square feet of growth space. And if it's a retail location, that is 2,500 square feet of retail space. Our application cure process, we touched on this a little bit earlier. Common reasons for cure letters are missing entity disclosure forms, expired government IDs, not submitted financial source agreements or management source agreements. Most recent tax returns haven't been submitted, or missing signatures. And so 1/3 of our awardees, as we talked about earlier, are majority owned by individuals with qualifying criminal history. 2/3 of awardees are majority diversely owned businesses. 2/3 of awardees are social equity businesses. And this just lets you know that it is possible for you, and that our policies and procedures are working to make sure that unrepresented and underrepresented communities feel welcomed in the cannabis industry, and know that there's opportunity for them. And so this is what we plan on doing. We plan on increasing our outreach to underrepresented and unrepresented communities to continue to build upon this success. We're going to continue to expand partnerships with organizations like the New Jersey Pride Chamber. We're going to continue to do targeted stakeholder engagement. So we'll be doing some follow-up after this presentation with the New Jersey Pride Chamber, and providing you opportunity to give us feedback and suggest policies, and building community trust. We want to make sure that individuals that haven't been intimately involved with government or with starting businesses know that the CRC is a little different, and we want to make sure that we continue to build trust in community. And so far, all of that has been working well. Our CRC Social Equity Excise Fee Report calls for investments in social equity businesses with tax revenue. So we already had our first round of social equity webinars, providing an opportunity for the public to discuss how we reinvest funds back into our communities that have been most harmed by the war on drugs. And we will be launching those again soon. And so those dates will be forthcoming. So I encourage all of you to give that some thought. And so those funds are then allocated by the Department of Treasury, and then the decision on those, it relies on the governor and our local elected officials. So it's great to start having those conversations with those entities now, so that when these social equity excise fees start rolling into the tens of millions of dollars, you are a part of the conversation about what those reinvestment dollars look like. And the programs being developed to address other things within our interagency work groups is our access to capital. We are almost across the finish line with an access to capital program for the New Jersey economically disadvantaged area. And sometime soon, I think I can say it today, that we will be discussing a forthcoming technical assistance program free through the Business Action Center. So I encourage you all to watch our public meeting today for any news and updates on that comes from our chairwoman and our audit committee. So how new businesses should prepare before applying. As you can see, just like any other business with a few caveats, learn the laws and regulations. I can't stress enough how important it is for folks to know what our rules are, what the law says, and what the regulations are. You don't have to read all 500 pages of the law, but we do have an initial rules document, which is about 20 pages, and it's worth the read because it can really answer any questions that you may have about our regulations and the types of license classes that you are looking to apply for, that you know someone that's looking to apply for. It's not only important to read the laws and regulations to help you fill out an application, but it's going to be crucial to know the laws and regulations as you set up a successful business and look for longevity as well. Understanding business classifications, priority designations, developing a business plan, registering federal and state tax ID numbers, opening a business account, securing business insurance, and scouting locations and learning municipal and zoning approval processes. The law gives a lot of authority at the municipal level for them to set up their own zoning approval processes and to opt in and opt out of the cannabis industry, and also to set up their own review and approval process. So it's great to learn all that information now, so you'll know what direction you need to go into. Required for all applicants, as you can see here, is a complete and submitted online application. Even if you're not ready to submit an application, you can create an online login and can see the entire application from front to back. And all of the forms that you would need to successfully submit an application are also located on our website and are downloadable. Entity legal name, valid business registration certificate from the Department of Treasury, a proposed location. Even if you're filling out a conditional application, you don't need, as we said earlier, a confirmed site location, but you do need to let us know where you think you would want to set up that business, and you're not locked into that. Personal history disclosure forms for all persons of interest, and later on down the line, you would have to submit for a criminal history background check. We're really excited. We're really excited about our partnership with the New Jersey Office of Innovation through their new business resources. They have free and personalized checklist on the New Jersey Office of Innovation for all types of businesses. If you want to open a hair salon, a food truck business, a restaurant, you name it, it is on there. And so they have launched a project for us, and on their website, there is a cannabis starter kit that you can click on that walks you step by step on how to not only fill out an application with us, but also set up a cannabis business here in New Jersey. For more information, you're certainly welcome to visit our website, which should be your first stop on your journey, through www.nj.gov/cannabis. It hit me last Friday when we did a presentation for Garden State Equality that, have you ever thought that you would see an nj.gov/cannabis in the state of New Jersey? And we're really proud of that. Getting a business started, as you know, through the Business Action Center, their website, and those folks over there are excellent resources for anyone, for any types of businesses. I'm sure many of you know. Certifications for diversity-owned businesses through New Jersey Department of Treasury, and for general business support, as you know, the Chamber of Commerce, or any Chamber of Commerce, particularly yours. Shameless plug for the Pride Chamber. Ancillary businesses. Commissioner Nash talked about it earlier. You know, as strong as we want and successful and robust as we want the cannabis industry to be, there's going to be a need for an even stronger and robust ancillary businesses that are designed to support cannabis businesses. So those of you that are on this call and folks that you know that already have a business should be thinking about how your business can support cannabis businesses. So as these licensees come on board, as we start awarding annual licenses and folks become operational, they're going to need packaging and labeling companies. They're going to need security companies, which is mandatory to have security in our regulations. You know, they have to have cameras installed and camera equipment, licensing and branding companies, marketing design agencies, lawyers, real estate, greenhouse systems. Folks right now need construction managers to help them with the build out, because they are the first ones entering into spaces and retrofitting them for cannabis regulation. So there are endless opportunities for the ancillary businesses, for the non-plant touching businesses. And you don't need a license for the CRC to operate a non-plant touching business here in New Jersey. So my community ask, I never leave a presentation without asking a few things from you all, and that is to stay informed, to stay engaged, and to stay active. The best way for you to stay informed is really to visit our website. If you haven't watched any of our public meetings, your opportunity is today at 1 o'clock on YouTube. You will be able to watch our public meetings, and if there are any staff on, if you can drop our public meetings page in the chat for folks so that they can jump in and out of it. But if you miss it today, they're recorded and posted on our website very quickly, and you can watch previous meetings, all of the materials that were discussed in previous meetings, all of the slides that we've run through and presented at our public meetings can be found on our website. It's a lot of information, but it's a lot of good information that's going to give you great information in making a decision to start a cannabis business, to apply for a license, or to just be in the ancillary space. Stay engaged whenever there's an opportunity to speak to the commissioners or this commission, whenever there's an opportunity to speak, to show up at a presentation like you did here, whenever there's an opportunity to provide feedback and be in conversation with the CRC, please stay engaged, and then stay activated. We need a strong, robust cannabis advocacy community that is talking not just to the CRC and talking with the CRC, but also talking to local elected officials about shaping the cannabis industry at the local level as well. And so we're excited about partnering with you all to help you stay informed, stay engaged, and stay activated. And here is my information in order for you to just do that. The quickest way to get in contact with me is through my email. So if you have any follow-up questions, if you have any comments, if you need me to point you in the right direction for resources, can't give you business advice and can't give you legal advice, but we are here to help you with the resources that we have and also to get your feedback on what type of policies that you would like to see that lend itself to social equity, diversity, and inclusion. And so that is it for me in the presentation. And so I'm going to give this opportunity to open it up for any questions that you may have. And if not, I will give you your time back.
All right, everyone. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and just unmute yourself and ask. You don't need to raise your hand or anything.
I had a question. I was wondering, sorry, my name is Bianca Figueroa, and I was wondering, how soon do you think that we'll start seeing consumption lounges here in New Jersey?
Great question. I am not sure, but what I can say is if you pay attention to our website, the agenda for our public meetings are posted about 2 weeks before our next public meeting. And so rules still need to be written, and a notice would be posted to our website and in our newspapers for consumption lounges. And so that alone is about a 6-month process.
Hi, Wesley. I have a question as well. My name is Adam Winoker with ABW Compliance, and I'm not against marijuana in any way. I think that it should be used in a recreational and safe manner, but I don't see any relationships being built anywhere from either side between companies that regulate marijuana use in the workplace, or to make it more of a drug responsible workplace, or any of those companies that are trying to do that, like my own, which is rare. I'll talk to you after the meeting, but I'm just curious why on the list of the non-plant-based support groups under consultants, we only have lawyers. It really should also include some like drug responsible workplace program administrators. And I'd love to get on that list, and I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about it further after the meeting.
Sure. So that is outside of my purview, and I'll certainly get you connected with the legal folks on the inside. But what I will say is that that is not an exhaustive list, right? That is just something that we put up to get people thinking about what is possible here in New Jersey. So even though if you don't see your particular business on there, it doesn't prevent you from being a part of the ancillary market.
Thank you. I have one other question. I know that part of the law was talking about having WIRES, which is the workplace impairment recognition experts. Do you know if there's any progress on that, or if that's being pushed off for a little bit longer, or what that looks like yet?
So I am not sure. So if you can shoot me an email, I can send you whatever updates that have been happening in that regard. But that is, again, outside of the wheelhouse of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Sam with Parrot Laboratories, and we do package testing for child-resistant, closures as well as microbial testing. And I just wanted to let everybody know that we're a resource, and we welcome the opportunity to work, with organizations and to do testing for them. And if anybody is interested, I can put my contact information and a little bit more about our testing in the chat. And I look forward to working with more folks in the future.
All right. So in the chat, I am dropping the just announced free technical assistance program through the Business Action Center, which should be launching Q1 of 2023. We are really, really excited about this. I believe that New Jersey, I think we can positively say this, factually say this, that New Jersey is the first jurisdiction to have a free technical assistance program launched so early in the industry. As the industry is growing, we want to make sure, as I said earlier, that we have a diverse workforce, an educated workforce. And this is also for those, this is a free course that is going to help people fill out an application, register their business. And as time goes on, there'll be other courses that will be added to it. But we are really, really excited to launch this. Right now, if you go to that website, you will be able to register and get on their email database so that when it is time for those courses to start, this is a virtual course, you will be the first to know. So just dropped the link in there. It went live this morning, and I encourage you all to register. And then the second link that I am dropping in the chat is a link to our public meeting today. It will be streamed on YouTube. Usually it was a Zoom link, but now it will be streamed live from YouTube. And we're really, really excited about that as well. Wanted to make sure I drop those resources in the chat for you all. I'll take just a few more questions if anyone has any. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back over to Gus and Jake. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your attentiveness and for your great questions. You all have my email. If there's any follow-up questions that you may have or something comes to you afterwards, please feel free to shoot me an email. Really want to stay engaged with you all and continue this cannabis conversation and help us shape this industry to make sure that it is both equitable and safe for all New Jerseyans. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wesley. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're much better at this.
Thank you, Wesley. And thank you everyone for asking questions and participating. Just a little update. Wesley will be in person at the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce's historic LGBTQ+ Summit, November 15th at the Borgata Hotel Casino in the Central Conference Room from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. He will be part of the business panel. So if you want to meet him and ask questions, that would be a perfect opportunity. And that is also a free event that's being sponsored by Garden State Equality and the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce. More information on our website, www.njpridechamber.org. Thank you again, everyone. And I'll hand it over to Jake to finish off the webinar.
Alrighty, well, there's not much else left to say. We did record this, so if you came in late or if you missed some of it, we will be sending out both the recording and the slideshow. If you are not yet a member of the Pride Chamber and you are interested in becoming a member, definitely reach out to me. I am the VP of Membership. I will quickly put my email in the chat here. So feel free to reach out. Again, if you are LGBT owned business, the certification fees are waived by being a member of the New Jersey Chamber. So definitely reach out and get that started, and we'll answer any questions you might have. But thank you again to Wesley and to his entire office for giving us all this wonderful information and for doing the hard work of trying to make sure that this industry grows fast and grows right. So and grow, not a pun because it's a plant, but anyhow, enough of my bad jokes. Thank you all for coming out here today. I know it's a little chunk out of your time on a Thursday, but we're glad you came, and hopefully you'll come again in November to Atlantic City. So I will go ahead and stop the recording now.